This isn't trick photography. This is how I can make myself feel as if I'm actually doing something. You too can also do this. But how often do you do it? So I'd normally close my eyes. I'd probably be lying down, because usually I do this if I'm lying down on the couch or in bed, and then I'll just imagine myself not just in my thoughts, but to literally feel my muscles move as if I'm rotating in the air, rotating or moving, flying through objects into the sky, out into space at different speeds. But the trick is to do it. For example, the room where you always are. You know what it looks like. You know what's behind you. You know what's in front of you. You know what's beside you. You know what's under you. Everything. So as you make yourself move like your legs are gonna tip up, you're gonna be upside down, and then you can see. The thing is to see what you're seeing in your mind as you move, as your body or your spiritual body moves upside down into the air and then looks. You have to look in your mind, open your eyes in your mind and look and see what you can see as if you were rotating and lifting up in the air and swinging back up and then spinning around or turning around the room. See the room where you are, see the things, the objects in your mind with your eyes in your mind as you're doing this. And this is called soul acrobatics. I've been doing this for, I've lost count now, but a few years, and I've never been able to do a full somersault properly without turning my body onto the side slightly. But even in my mind, I could never do it. And sometimes I would actually get dizzy because I'm actually going through it. Even though my physical body is still, all the energy and the electricity or all the magnetism in my body, in my spiritual body, I could feel my soul turning around. And it's using my body as, for example, like a compass, or just to have something to distinguish my direction with. So what does this do? What is this for? Well, it's for your enjoyment, it's for your relaxation, but it's for also your spiritual strength, for your, it's in two things. It's one, it's good for when you do leave the body and become your spirit fully, but it's also good for your spiritual well-being and your strength spiritually inside. It's to increase the abilities, the things that you can do, and it's also to expand your mind into possibilities. And that's what it's for. But always most humans have wanted to fly, or to go underwater without having to drown. So you can imagine you're in the water, you can imagine you're out in space, and you move around in these type of fashions. But this is what else it's about. It first started, well, probably not first started, but one of the times where I noticed that I was doing something specific. This is when I was, everyone's had their flying dreams, fine. But in your waking moments, I was watching Star Trek, and the scene takes you, the intro, through space and through colors and objects and all these beautiful things. And I was just watching it one night, and I was so in tune that I could feel all the little particles out in space. I could feel and taste the temperature and the color and the texture of all the objects. I could taste the objects, the color. Um, it was really strange. And I said, oh, yeah, I'll keep going with this. This is good. I like where this is going. So, this is when I speak about color and food and taste and visual things and edible things. We consume everything in one way or another, even without it being aware of it. So that's why something might put us off because it's a certain color, but if it's a different color, oh, now it's tasty. Or if it was a different texture, now it's pleasant, you know. And everyone has their own tastes depending on what they're associating that thing with. So this increases our powers and our abilities electromagnetically to be able to see and sense better, more. We are not just our five senses. That is a lie. That is a criminal lie. We have more senses. We have senses about things that we're not even aware that we're sensing, but our body knows that it's happening. Our body doesn't have our stupid minds and ego and personalities and religions and cultures to deal with. We deal with that, with each other, to each other. But our body doesn't do any of that. It just does what it does. It's a natural product of this existence, and it reacts when it does not like something, and it reacts in its own way. Everyone knows that there's hundreds of, probably thousands of different types of chemicals in our body that digest our food and maintain our health. There's all kinds of electrical magnetic signals happening. But everything is electrical magnetical. Even the things we can't see and hear and do. So when you are not loading yourself, but well, I suppose I could say, for the lack of a better word, loading yourself with all these abilities and sensations. Who needs drugs? You don't need drugs. This is what I kind of don't understand with the drug world and the alcohol world and the smoking world, because if you were using these abilities, you would laugh at all those things that you're doing and thinking, why the hell did I do that? Would I do that? Even put that in my body? When your body itself can give you those highs and those experiences. It all starts with the imagination and your familiarity. So things that you already know, you can start with simple exercises inside, lying down in your lounge room or when you're in bed, and with objects in the house. You know, you can imagine, what would this not ask. Don't ask, oh, what does this taste like, and go and grab it and taste it. Our mouth is not the only way we taste things, or mouth/nasal passage. We can taste things just based on if we think something is beautiful and pleasant, whether it's edible or not. We can taste it. And yes, sometimes we can put tastes on things so that they are pleasant on us. And that's fine. That's good. That's what we need to do. Imagine a world like where everything is edible and everything has a nice smell. That's exactly what this exercise also does. So it does a lot of things. It's not just one thing. But let's go even further. If we can physically or spiritually somehow taste and use our memory to remember taste and to taste them as if we were tasting them right now. See, I don't take people through meditations. You can do that on your own time. You can use all the knowledge that has been passed through me. You can use it and you can meditate all the tricks and ins and outs in your own time. I don't do meditation videos. I've only done a couple. So if we can taste and lie still, but we're actually moving in the room at the same time, if we can do that, then who is the person saying that we can't heal ourselves physically or even mentally and all that kind of stuff? Who is telling you that? Who is telling you that you need to take this poison tablet? You know what? Take the poison tablet. When you've become so sick of it and you've had enough, you might say, you know what? Fuck this. I'm going to heal myself with the abilities that I am practicing from my own self. Even the professionals will tell you, disease is not a disease, it's not an illness. It's dis-ease. There's not ease in our body. We don't practice ease. We're doing things that we don't want or don't like or forced upon or forcing on others. It's interacting. Everything, all our actions are interacting, and our bodies suffer for this, and that's how they get ill, or they become weak and stumble. They lose their awareness and their vigor just for a moment, and that's how things happen. And the more we ignore things that we know are not right, oh yes, no, everything's good, everything's perfect, I've got everything I need, I'm not complaining, I'm grateful. Yet underlying deep down, there are issues you've swept and you're fine with. You're fine with them. That's the problem. You're fine with issues when they should not be fine with. They should be addressed. There are things that are not addressed, and that's when we exist and create dis-ease. And it's funny that on my timer here, I actually stopped talking at count 1, 2, 3, 4. So 12 minutes and 34 seconds. And when I looked at the phone, the 4 turned into a 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's a big blessing and it's a lovely little channel. I wasn't in the mood to do a channel today, but I had to do something because it was also for my well-being. Remember, we're not perfect and we don't need to be. I have to go through all these things as well. I train myself, I practice these things. There's no reason why I always have to be on my best behavior. Who is it to please? I'm not pleasing anyone. When we're not pleasing ourselves is the issue. So I am allowed to even go against the things I learn. Sometimes I just need an off day, and so do you. We need these off days so we can, it's like to see where you are from where you were before. Okay, I was here, this was great, and now I'm a bit on the side. What am I finding in this area? What you do is you're looking, it's like looking at things at a different perspective. Don't be scared of things like that, but don't expect people to always be perfect either. We're all in this together, and there's no ifs and buts about that. We're all in this together. There's no, oh, you're better, I'm not. You're up to date, I'm not. We're all in this together and we have to learn together. It's not about that what you're thinking. We all have to meet each other halfway. And we all have to do some kind of our share. It's not us, let's sit on the sideline, let's see what they do. We all have to be responsible. We can all say, hey, I'm sticking my hand up. Are you a person who sticks their hand up, or you just walk away, brush it under the carpet, let someone else do it, or not interested? Little acts of kindness to yourself and to others make a big difference in the world. We don't always get it right in the face, smack, here you are, here's your reward. Are you doing this for a reward? Or are you doing this to get out of this awful human state that we live in? We need to get out of this state, and we need to rise it up into the heavens, and we need to become one with the heavens. We need there to be no barrier from here in heaven. It should just be like a nice transition. It shouldn't be this hard where we're stuck to this gravity. It should be like an open door. We can't always just be the good person and someone else, take a free ride, so to speak. We all have to do our bit, meet people halfway, because everything involves all of us. And some of you are going to say, oh no, these soul acrobatics are making me dizzy just thinking about them. Don't do acrobatics, do something else. Do some walking. Do some swimming. Do soul swimming. Do soul dancing. Whatever. Just close your eyes. And I can even do this with my eyes open. So when you get better, you can do these things with your eyes open. You can be watching TV and listening to something and fully focused, yet you're actually on the inside doing something else. Strengthen your soul presence and how it works inside this body. Because our souls are squashed in this body, and we need to move our soul legs, so to speak. Our souls are a beautiful burst of energies, loving, beautiful stuff. It's not the things that we do and see each other as. They're just containers. Our bodies and the things that we do and put on us are just containers. They have 0.01% relevance to what everything else is relevant inside us. So stretch your soul legs. Please stretch your spiritual energy. And that sounds like a tiny little task, but you don't know how amazing and what beautiful things that does out in the world and in the universe. And people in heaven are watching us. They're watching everything we do, say, think and feel. What we want, what we don't want. Our limitations. Our limits, okay, I won't go further than this. Or the things that we stop ourselves doing. Our capacity. And they're cheering you on. They're all cheering you on. And you know what? Whether you ask or not, they actually do assist you. They assist you more than you think that you deserve. Because we have deserve problems here as a human race. Oh, we don't deserve this. Oh, I'm not good enough for that. It takes a family to be a family. It can't just always be the same person doing all the loving and catching all the falls and filling up all the blanks. So our spirit family is doing that with us. We are not here alone. Even when we're isolated and there's no one around you, you are definitely not alone. There's probably more out there than there is out here with all the... And I say that because out in isolation, there's less noisy, staticky garbage happening because, you know, we all have these connections to millions of angels and beings and whatnot. And imagine there's 1 million people in a town, magnify that. But if you're out in the desert, it's so clear and quiet and calm that you're open to more than what's in the city. I know that sounds far-fetched and probably not mathematically correct, but it is, because in the city, from all the static, people drop off. They close the connections and just focus on a pillow or a job or a task or a phone call or a meal. Whereas when you're out in the silence, and that's what's so scary about it, everything hits you and it just hugs you and it holds you tight. And that energy, we're scared of that energy. Why? Why are we like this? Because of the dumb things that human society over the years has embedded in our cultures and in our fear and careful caution systems. And so that we're scared the hell out of living. We're too scared to live and to embrace those things. It's like, can you imagine you're out in the middle of nowhere and and then all of a sudden 1 million relatives come to hug you. That's what it's like. But just relax, let that be, receive love and send love and thanks. They want me to clarify a point. It's not enough just to be grateful. You have to participate in some way. You know, you can send out vibes. Don't just be grateful, everything about you, but do some spirit work, sending love out there. And what's more important is stop sending not love out there. Anything that is unloving, stop sending that out there. Stop thinking it. Stop giving any energy to it. So what I want to say is that there's no specific technical instructions. I gave you the instructions, and that's all it takes. Just do it, try some things.